Welcome to News9 and you are watching On Point. Today we have 3 on points. In the first on point, we look at the row over revision of electoral rolls in Bihar. In the second on point, we look at the Gambhir bridge collapse in Vadodara, Gujarat. In the third, we look at the crash of a Jaguar Indian Air Force jet in Churu. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Maharashtra CM Fadnavis condemns assault on canteen staff by Shinde Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad, says such behavior is unacceptable. Prime Minister Modi receives 21-gun salute at ceremonial welcome with Guard of Honor in Namibia. Twelve Maoists, including 9 carrying 28.50 lakh bounty, surrender in Chhattisgarh's Dantewada. Karnataka plans to implement a 2-language formula. Siddaramaiah asks officials to prepare draft policy. Blackmailed over private video, Mumbai CA dies by suicide after losing 3 crores. Indian origin, Sabhi Khan appointed as Apple's chief operating officer. Russia launches its largest drone attack on Ukraine with 728 drones and 13 missiles. At least 3 killed in flash floods in New Mexico, rescue efforts on.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
The row over revision of electoral roll in Bihar is intensified. India bloc leaders held a bandh against it. It brought the big wigs of the alliance on the stage. Constitution was once again used as a rallying point. Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition, accused the centre of stealing elections. He said that voter increase in Maharashtra was succeeded by a landslide win for Bharatiya Janata Party in the state.
हमारे लोग इलेक्शन कमिश्नर से जाके मिले, मैं नहीं था मगर सारे नेता गए और मैंने इनसे पूछा आपको क्या लगा, और सारे के सारों ने कहा कि इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बीजेपी और आरएसएस जैसे बात कर रहे हैं। वो भूल गए हैं कि वो किसी राजनीतिक पार्टी के नहीं है, वो हिंदुस्तान के इलेक्शन कमिश्नर है और उनका काम इस संविधान की रक्षा करने का है। यहां से क्लियर मैसेज देना चाहता हूं, आपको जो करना है करिए, मगर बाद में कानून आप पर लागू होगा। भूलिए मत, आप कितने भी बड़े हो, कहीं भी बैठे हो, कानून आपको नहीं छोड़ेगा। मैं आपको गारंटी दे रहा हूं कि कानून आपको नहीं छोड़ेगा।
On the other hand, CEC Nitish Kumar reaffirmed that special intensive revision of electoral rolls in Bihar will be extended to the entire nation. After Bihar, it will be carried out in states going for assembly polls, Assam, where there is already a problem of immigration from Bangladesh, West Bengal, where Mamata Banerjee is saying that this is like a backdoor NRC, and the fact of the matter is the Demographic profile of the entire bordering districts of West Bengal has completely changed. Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. He said the revision is essential to strengthen democracy. The charge against him is that SIR exercise could deprive lakhs of their voting rights. Petition challenging SIR are coming up in Supreme Court on July 10th, which is Thursday. According to CEC, the revision process is going forward at a very fast pace. So what is the state of SIR? This is till 8th evening. Form distributed 7.7 crore. Form deposited 3.7 crore, which is 47%, which is till yesterday evening 8th. Form uploaded 18.16%. Remaining days 17. Today it becomes 16. Last day July 25th. This is as per Election Commission of India, 6 p.m. 8th July. Now let me take the bite of Tejasvi Yadav and Ravi Shankar Prasad as to what they have to say on this big Bihar debate which is taking place. Will it lead to disenfranchisement of voter, or will it empower the real electorate and weed out the foreigners?
पूरे बिहार के लोगों में नाराजगी है इलेक्शन कमीशन को लेके। खास तौर पे इलेक्शन कमीशन जो है अब एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का प्रकोष्ठ बन करके रह गया है। उसके इशारे पे ही सारा फैसला निर्णय जो है लिया जाता है। खुद ही इलेक्शन कमीशन कंफ्यूज करना क्या चाहती है, बार बार जो है गाइडलाइंस जो है चेंज किए जा रहे हैं। ये भी क्यों कर रहे हैं? तो कोई भी सवाल का जवाब जो है इलेक्शन कमीशन ने हम लोगों को दिया नहीं, ना एक बार भी आके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके सभी चीजों को जो है स्पष्ट किया।
आज वोटर रिवीजन को लेकर करके विपक्षी पार्टियों ने बिहार बंद बुलाया है। राहुल गांधी, तेजस्वी सभी सड़कों पे घूम रहे हैं। ये उनका अधिकार है, मुझे कुछ नहीं बोलना है, लेकिन मुझे कुछ बड़ी बातें रखना है देश के सामने। अगर वोटर लिस्ट को लेकर के रिवीजन होता है तो आपको क्या परेशानी है, ये पहली बात मैं कहूंगा। दूसरी जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात है, इन सभी लोगों ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाया, उनका अधिकार है। तो फिर क्या एक दबाव की राजनीति हो रही है क्या? या तो आप कोर्ट में विश्वास करिए या सड़क पर विश्वास करिए।
So what is the goal behind special intensive revision? No Indian who is eligible to vote will be left out. Every eligible citizen must be included. Non-Indians should be excluded. Deceased, duplicate or ineligible names removed. Election Commission has listed 11 documents to establish eligibility under SIR campaign. Birth certificate, matriculation certificate, passport, domicile residency certificate, caste certificate, forest rights documents, government employee or pensioner ID, bank or post office or LIC certificate, NRC wherever available, service ID, land or property registration papers. Now here comes the twist on which the debate takes place. Those already in the 2003 electoral rolls don't need to submit additional documents. So that is one thing which is clear. But those born before July 1st, 1987 must give either birth or place of birth documents. Those born between July 1st, 1987 and December 2nd, 2004 must give both birth and place of birth documents. Those born after December 2nd, 2004 must give birth, place of birth and parents document. So my question is it possible for all the poor people in Bihar to provide all these details? On this issue, I am joined by Manish Warrier, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party, Adil Singh, spokesperson Congress Party, and Ajit Kejha, senior journalist, psephologist, and who has been touring Bihar recently. Now, let me straight away go to Manish first. There is a question which a lot of people are asking, editorials being written, and the question is, will it empower voter, sir, or will it disenfranchise poor voter?
Good evening to you and my co-panelist and all the viewers. Absolutely not. The whole goal of Election Commission is to ensure that only the citizens of the country, they vote. And what better proof you can get than you can find it out in Kishanganj, that for making Avasiya Praman Patra, that is domicile certificate, it is unusually 10 times higher. So I'm told that somewhere around 1 lakh people have applied in that constituency, in that district, to get this Avasiya Praman Patra. And even in Muzaffarpur, a lot of people have applied. This shows that there are a number of people, and it is not hidden from anyone, that in Simanchal area, there are a number of people who have unauthorized residencies. And if the Election Commission is doing the job to ensure that only Indians vote, why would somebody have problems? I don't understand. Maybe they want, such kind of people to really, vote, or maybe they have brought in there, which was a standard procedure earlier with communist parties and as well as Congress parties earlier. So I think that could be the only intention. Otherwise, any right-minded Indian individual in Bihar, there is no halabola over this. Let me assure you, nobody is concerned. The concern is only for people who are defeatist mindset. They don't have any vision for Bihar. They have no ideas. And that is what they are best known for. I would call always, RJD as a rowdy Janata Dal. That's what they did today. Inconvenience to people. You could see tires burning. You could see other things burning. Railways being stopped. You can do things. If you really believe in democracy, then the first thing is you stop doing all these things. Right? And look at the kind of contradictions. Two people with Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Pappu Yadav and Kanhaiya Kumar. Both of them were not allowed to put on stage with Tejasvi. That itself shows the kind of contradictions. They don't have trust even in their own people and own allies. What to say? So I don't think this entire, entire thing was good for Bihar or good for the country. Nothing of that sort. It's a bogey which was done in last elections, keeping that constitution, and the people of Bihar resoundingly rejected, as well as people of the country rejected this.
Okay, let me take opening comments from Adil Singh, sir. Your opening comments?
Kartikeji, the BJP and the Election Commission of India, and both, you can use both of them interchangeably because both of them have one objective, are in a make-believe world. They've become delusional. And why I say this is that they are not alive to the ground realities of Bihar. Now, when you look at the ground realities of Bihar, there are people who do not have passports. There are people who do not have service IDs. There are people who are not government pensioners or employed with government or other agencies. There are individuals who don't even have birth certificates. Nobody can have a quarrel that those who are not Indian citizens should not be allowed to vote. But the problem arises is when you undertake a mammoth exercise a few weeks before the elections, when admittedly you don't have the requisite infrastructure, are you leaving out genuine citizens who have the right to vote? I think that is the material point. Can anybody disagree with the premise that an Indian citizen who's otherwise eligible to vote, but merely because he comes from a poor background or a background which is not accessible to other government benefits like a job or an LIC certificate, should he be deprived of his right to vote? I think that's the material question we need to ask. And any person, and I'm surprised by what the BJP spokesperson is saying, any person who's gone to the hinterland of Bihar will acknowledge that there are thousands, lakhs of people who still do not have access to all these public documents. Now, how do you arrange these documents in a jiffy? That's the question. Had you conducted such an exercise a year and a half before the elections, one could have still understood the objective. But the purpose of doing this at the 11th hour is an attempt to bring the NRC through the back door. And let me tell the BJP, this is effectively going to hurt almost 3 crore Indian citizens. Can you imagine?
I'll come to you. Let me take opening. Adil, I'll come to you. Let me take opening comments from Ajit because Ajit had spent time touring Bihar. Ajit, I have a quick question. I mean to say, is this time enough to actually capture the entire voter base of Bihar? And the concern is, what is the percentage of ineligibility which may happen? Because that is where the catch is. 1%, 2%, 3%, and what sort of an effect that might have on the election?
I think the timing is all wrong. I mean, the timing, according to me, should have been after a census was conducted, as in 2001, when the 2003 so-called SIR was conducted. It was after a census was conducted. The last census we have is 2011. The government has not even bothered, after being in power for 11 years in the center and 20 years in Bihar, to conduct a census in the state or in the country. How come you are having this sudden rush to prove the citizenship of Biharis? Take my case. I don't have a birth certificate. I did not study, I did not do matriculation in Bihar. I don't know what the hell is a domicile certificate, but I have the right to vote there. How can you stop it? Based on what? Who the hell will define my citizenship? A guy who's an election commissioner born in Agra. He knows more about Bihar than me. What kind of arbitrary clause is this? Of course, I have a passport, but my passport will give permanent address of Gurgaon. So you won't let me vote in Bihar? What kind of nonsense? This is total arbitrary. This residence domicile certificate that is being asked. How many Biharis have a domicile certificate? I just got an agricultural survey done in my village. The gharari is the word used in Bihar for your house. My house, which was given to me by my great-grandfathers, is not registered. Not a single Bihari's house is registered. What nonsense is the election commissioner asking for?
Okay, let me be the Ajit, can I be the devil's advocate? What is the issue in context of the enumeration, and what is the issue? Let me be the devil's advocate. You know, I'm not making it personal, sir. You know, when Rajiv Gandhi wanted to introduce computers, entire opposition party said कि ये क्या है, computer से होगा. When Prime Minister Modi wanted a sort of a digitization of finance, he said यार ये कैसे होगा, यहाँ तो हिंदुस्तान में सब रुपया इस्तेमाल करते हैं. You know, you won't believe it. Now everything is being done on mobile phone, and you know, all of us have laptops. So, you know, do we have this instinctual Indian habit of saying no to anything which is like slightly forward-looking, sir?
Look, the reason one is objecting is because the entire exercise of deletion of voter lists was done between October and January already. On top of that, suddenly 3 months before the election, you are saying special intensive revision. You know what that means actually in constitutional language? That means the existing voter list is null and void. You are doing that 4 months before the assembly election. That means the Lok Sabha election that was held in 2024 was invalid. That means the foreigners voted in all over the country, including Bihar in this case, or Bengal or Assam. So therefore, it was a fraud. What is the point being made here?
I think you made couple of strong points. I think Manish wants to respond to it. Manish, to you.
Yeah, I think Mr. Ajit is high on emotions, very low on facts and data. If you look at, he's sitting in Gurgaon, he can actually get online residency certificate. It takes only 1 day to get that domicile certificate. In fact, specifically, this Bihar government has ensured that this domicile certificate is given within 1 day. So there is no problem if somebody is a rightful, person residing in Bihar, that person will get it. So it's basically a biased mindset which is coming out of it. I don't know what exactly is the problem. That is one. Second, if you go to hinterlands, the BLO, especially the electoral officers, they have the right that if you do not have any documents, mark my word, if you do not have any documents, they can actually physically verify you, verify your home, ensure that you are the resident of that place and can give you. So documents at the end of it is not necessary and essential for person who do not have anything. And that is on the wisdom of electoral officers out there. But that doesn't mean that people of Bihar do not have these certificates. The lowest level, the government of Bihar as well as government of India, everybody in Bihar, let it be OBC, SC, ST, do they not take government programs and do they not take all the benefits at the poorest level? We are talking about BPL people getting all the facilities of Government of India and Government of Bihar. Where do these certificates come from? They all get their certificates. So this is in the mind of people who are doing drawing room politics. Maybe, some kind of a imagined world they are staying in, not in real world. In real world in Bihar, people are submitting these documents within 1 or 2 days. It's not taking too much of time. So, this is a imagined situation. I do travel. I also belong to one of the villages of Bihar, and whatever Mr. Jha is saying, I summarily reject it with due respect, because he's giving a very specific instance. By the way, if you are in Gurgaon and if you are a resident of Gurgaon, you should vote in Gurgaon. You should not vote in your village. And that is also will come out of this entire thing. If you already not a resident, then what for you are a Bihari? You are not a Bihari in that sense, isn't it? You cannot, and there are people who vote in 2 places, which is unconstitutional. And this will also come out through this revision. So there are so many malpractices that are done. Why should this be allowed? And by the way, in 2002, 2003, I'll just finish my point. Intensive revision was done in Northeast states during Congress government. Nobody questioned. In Gujarat, parts of Gujarat, and in Tamil Nadu, in urban areas, again SIR was conducted, and that was during the Congress period. Nobody objected. So what it could be except a vested interest that people are... So, as I told earlier, that it's a defeatist mindset. You don't have vision for Bihar. You're not talking how many jobs you're going to bring in. You're not talking about the fact that how you will take Bihar forward. What development will you do? Ultimately, you are again doing the same thing which RJD and Congress has been doing in Bihar for last 24, 25 years. You are creating anarchy, and which is why the government of Bihar has, the people of Bihar have always rejected this kind of a mindset. So people are still in old thinking. The people of Bihar have moved forward. They want better roads, infrastructure, electricity, which this government has provided. They want jobs, which this government is putting after it. Right? They don't want this anarchy. And that is what I would like to say. And you will see when the and the timing. Let me talk about the timing.
I have one question. You can add your argument to it. There is a fear of ineligibility, even if it 0.5% or even if it is 0.3%. How is the government going to rectify that?
There are 1 lakh BLOs on the ground, and they are moving everywhere. I got this form. See, I have this form. I got this form from BLO in my home. It's a home delivery. Everybody is getting this form. It's there in front of me. Okay. Where is the question of any being left out?
Okay.
And please understand, in villages, the communication is even faster than what it is in cities. People were talking about hinterlands. Anything the government comes out with, it goes to them faster than even I can vouch for it. You can ask people. It spreads like wildfire. You would see the data. More people in rural areas have submitted these forms than they have in urban areas.
Adil.
So completely unfounded. A marginalized section of society just cannot be left out, because that is what Election Commission is doing, going to place to place, ensuring that they are not left out in any case.
Adil, to you.
Kartikeji, do you recall the BJP's arguments during the demonetization drive? There were similar arguments which were made, and it turned out to be an utter failure. Similarly, this special intensive exercise comes in the wake of what has happened in Maharashtra, where there was fudging of voter lists. We are already before the Election Commission of India with data, and they are obstructing our stonewalling release of data. Now, what do you have in Bihar? A summary revision or a revision of voter list was already carried out in January of this year. This is the second such exercise in the same year. It was carried out, they sifted through the list, and then a final list was prepared. Now, my friend from the BJP talks about the efficiency of the BLOs or the election officers. We all know how they work at the ground level. You are talking about constituencies which have an electorate size of 3 lakhs. Do you really expect a tehsildar or an SDM to go to every remote village and every house? Which world are you living in? And as far as people in the villages are concerned, yes, they have documentation to avail government benefits, but that is either restricted to your Aadhaar or it is restricted to your ration card. When you ask a person in the village that who hasn't even in fact ever visited the regional passport officer for a passport, what do you expect him to do? And let me again reiterate, a mammoth exercise to cover approximately 8 to 10 crore people in a state which already has a weak administrative apparatus. 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the elections is an utter failure. It is designed to fail. And what is most disconcerting, this is where the mischief comes in. This is not a bona fide mistake. Let me remind your viewers.
But Adil,
this
you are adding one point. Adil, you are adding one point. I have to add that. Why is this whole debate? You just let him finish. Why is this issue of stolen elections? I mean to say, there are elections you win. You won Karnataka with the same machine. You won Telangana. You won Himachal Pradesh. You got 99 seats, almost 100 seats in Lok Sabha elections. But when it comes to Maharashtra, the whole grammar is of the stolen election. Why?
I'm glad you put this question to me.
Why? I mean to say, why do you discredit our democratic institutions? As an individual, I'm asking you.
Let me respond.
And then Manish, you can come in.
No, I respect your question. I'll respond. It's incumbent on me to respond. Firstly, we have, as far as the Election Commission of India is concerned, it has become an extension of the BJP. They're wasting prime land in Lutyens, Delhi. They should move to the BJP office. Number two, coming strictly to Maharashtra, we have shared data in public domain, how there is an exponential increase in the number of voters in a matter of weeks before the elections. There is an abnormal increase in the number of voters. There are voters whose names are tallying on different constituencies in the adjoining areas. Why have those voters not been weeded out? The Election Commission of India not only has any answers, they changed the election rules, the conduct of election rules despite an order of the High Court, and they are not willing to share the data with us. That is why I sing, please understand, Kartikeji, the Congress's position is what the BJP is doing is it is manipulating voter lists.
I have a different view on it because the voter list was also substantially, voter list also saw a substantial rise when UPA was in power in Maharashtra. But that's a different debate. I really don't want to get into that data.
I'll just come in. Yeah, so regarding Maharashtra elections, in fact, Election Commission of India has given point by point rebuttal of what Congress has said. So that's an old story. They're not ready to believe. It is so farcical that they are doubting the constitutional authority. Whenever they lose, they're sore losers. Whenever they win, as you pointed out, nothing happens. Whenever they lose, again, they are pinpointing this. One. Second, please ask Ajit ji is here. He's from Bihar, a senior journalist. Is it not a fact that in Simanchal, almost every household would have a passport? Please ask him. He will tell that he will also vouch for it. Large portions of there is, I'm talking about passport, is there. So, these kind of things are completely unfounded and unnecessary kind of rumors are being made. Third, he's actually doubting the wisdom of BLOs in Bihar. That shows, in fact, that he's completely biased against Biharis. I'm sorry to say, because you are basically doubting constitutional authorities. You are doubting the employees of Bihar government. You are doubting employees of central government. Then why do you really become a part of the election process? You should just not be a part of the election process.
Ajit ji is not only a senior journalist, but he's a trained psephologist. So, I have to ask him a question because, our whole conversation also meandered to the stolen election. I know he has a different view on it. Ajit, why does I know you have strong views on the revision. And you have said it number of times on my show. That's perfect. But is it unusual to see rise in voters in any state? Is it unusual?
Look, 1 crore voters rise in a matter of 4 months. Of course, there is something wrong there. If that was the case, why didn't the EC bring out the entire voter list in the public domain? That is shocking. And the second point, the BLO. Who is a BLO? Do you know how the 1 lakh voters, by the way, Mr. Manish Barrier should know, I was editor of Times of India in Patna. So if he thinks I'm a drawing room politician sitting in Gurgaon, so please stop talking utter, rubbish. Okay, let me tell you my background if you want to know outside the debate. But first of all, who is a BLO? The booth level officer is being paid by what? By Manrega money. Remember that. And you are saying, the EC is saying that the Manrega card is not acceptable. How about checking the citizenship of the 1 lakh BLOs? Have you checked it? Did the EC check it? No, not at all. So the point here is, when you define citizenship by a certain document, by not other, there is a debate here based on what? You are saying forest right certificate. Bihar has less than 1.5% forests, and you are asking the voter to produce that. You are asking the voter to produce a birth certificate. Anyone beyond the age of 35 doesn't have a birth certificate. All they have is a matriculation certificate. In fact, the people from my generation, everyone, their certificate used to be a matriculation certificate. Why are you using all this? And by the way, India has a British system of election. It is the job of the EC to help people get that certificate. Remember T.N. Session. He went around the state in 1995 producing Dalit booths, and thereby Dalits were allowed to vote. And here you have an election commissioner who's removing Dalits' rights to vote. He's saying that all the guys who are migrating out of Bihar, which is probably 1/3 of Biharis or maybe half Bihar, he's saying that now they have to produce a certificate of residency. So you are saying the entire migrants don't have a right to vote. You want the migrants to come spend money all the way to Bihar, produce their certificate in the middle of a summer.
Okay. Let Manish come in.
During election.
Yeah. Let Manish come in. Okay. Manish.
With due respect to Ajit ji, he was talking about foreign FRAs. There are only 143 people who have FRAs. Only 143. As he rightly said, less than 1%. But that's 143. That is one. Second, he's completely wrong when he says that 1/3 of Biharis stay outside Bihar. No, it is not true. You are saying that 5 crore Biharis are there who are franchised outside Bihar, and the 5 crore people come and vote. I have a doubts over his data on this, right? The third point, it is not, Aadhaar card is not something which has not been taken care of. In fact, these domicile certificates are made using Aadhaar card. If you have an Aadhaar card, you can make domicile certificate. What is required by the Election Commission is, when you go through these domicile certificates, I think the genuineness of the voter comes through. And that is the only point which is there, because then the local authorities who are there, they get into the picture and they ensure that the citizen of that particular place is actually genuine. And so therefore, I don't know whether he is doing it deliberately or is it hiding it just like that, or he has no knowledge, which I doubt, because he's quite knowledgeable. But then please do not spread that kind of a rumor. In fact, every step of election Commission of India is being done.
Ajit, let him complete. I'll give you time.
People of this Bihar votes, and as you will see during that time, not even one eligible voter would be disfranchised.
Okay.
It has never happened.
Manish, my question to you, it's a political question on Mamta's charge that it is NRC through backdoor. Your comments, sir.
So first of all, NRC itself is not incorrect, right? Why have you really put this NRC as something which is a draconian thing, isn't it? That is one. And second, it is not NRC. There is no NRC in Bihar. As we all know, that there is no term called, if you go into Bihar and talk about NRC, 99% people would not even know the name, right? So therefore, I think that is a politically motivated kind of a statement. She doesn't have even stake in Bihar. So, I would dismiss it just like that.
Okay. Ajit, 30 seconds to you and then 30 seconds to Adil before I close the debate. I'm running short of time.
See, all I'm saying is, according to Mr. Manish Barrier, asked him, was the election commission sleeping when the Lok Sabha election took place? Why didn't they do the special intensive revision then? During the time when the entire country was about to vote, this EC who has come, he was already in the election commission. Was he sleeping then? Why is he doing it now, 3 months before the election? In fact, he ended up doing a revision of the entire voter list of Bihar between October and January. Was he sleeping then? Why didn't he mention that he's going to carry on?
Your biggest objection is on the timing. You're saying that it should have been done earlier? Okay, point taken. Adil, you're basically saying, I got your point. It should have been done earlier. That's the point you're making. Adil.
Let me just summarize. Given the time constraint, neither the state administration nor the Election Commission of India has the requisite apparatus to conduct such an exercise of scanning 8 to 10 crore people in a short span of 3 to 4 weeks. Point number one. Point number two, when you leave such sensitive matters to a gram panchayat or a tehsildar who otherwise may be inefficient, who otherwise may not have the motivation to go across the entire constituency, personally interview approximately 2.5 to 3 crore voters. What are you creating? You are creating havoc. I repeat, you are creating havoc with the voter list. And even if one voter is lost out, even if one voter is made eligible, I think it is unfortunate.
That comes from, it is very understandable that it will come from a centralized party where family is the only thing and nothing else. So obviously, decentralization of power is something he would have never thought.
I think that is rhetoric.
Democracy.
I think that is it. I think the bottom line here is the matter has gone to the Supreme Court. All eyes are on the Supreme Court. I think there are more than 10 petitions which will be heard in Supreme Court. So whether the court takes a strong cognizance of it, whether the court says, well, the government can go ahead with it, ultimately the matter will be decided at a different place. Thank you all of you for such a intense and a riveting conversation on what the ultimate purpose or the result of this special intensive revision will be. So this was on point 1, but don't go away. In the second on point, we will look at the Gambhira bridge collapse in Vadodara, but after a short break.
ये गोल्डन का एक तेरे लिए मंगाओ मेरे नए म्यूजिक गॉगल्स मंगाओ क्या
नई गाड़ी कप होल्डर है ठोकी भी रख सकते हैं।